Kash Patel. Alright. Kash Patel. This is a reaction, excuse me. This is a reaction to, well, we were just watching you talk about something on a video. It looked like it could have been AI, but it might have really been you. We want to talk about Epstein. You said it's, our responsibility to question all the government and all the corruption and all that's going on. Yes, I always do this. I had some things I wanted to bring up, and I want to make sure you go over it for your thing, including the UN's files on... Stop it. You're not going to bark the whole time. Please. Okay. He likes to be involved. Just a little disruptive slightly. The thing is, the UN, okay, years ago I researched the UN, and they had files on all the people being raped 40 to 50 times a day that were tied down in places. They know where all this is going on. There's ledgers like the Vatican dark files and dirty files. The Vatican dirty files. The Vatican kept ledgers on all the rapes of the children they were having raped for $50 a pop. So, they keep ledgers on us. The UN's got it. Now the CIA, John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, Tony Podesta, some other places to look for some things. Anybody involved in adrenochrome. There was a big thing going on in Seattle, organized through the whole medical industry. This was white-collar businesses that had a supply chain of human meat and organs and adrenochrome with Marriott hotel chains. Hotel chains are very involved. A lot of drug dealers have money in hotels. There's somebody around here I heard that does. I don't want to get into it. I think it's something you people already even know about. This is the thing, is you people already know. Okay? I probably want to just go send a paramilitary to burn down a lot of these hotels and all their little hubs and little strongholds. Put some more money in the paramilitary. Take out the CIA because it's unnecessary. The paramilitary actually kills the bad people and blows up their strongholds. That's actually what works. Who killed Epstein? Who cares? Problem solved. Good riddance. Praise the Lord. Exactly. John Podesta, Tony Podesta, Madeleine McCann, police sketch. They were there around the time. Who's that detective? Why didn't they investigate it? They had a police sketch of the guys that looks exactly like John and Tony Podesta. What did under that? More organized corruption? They're all a bunch of fucking... All the crooked ones that had been infiltrated and networked into these systems are all cannibals, murderers, child rapists, kidnappers? Yes, that's actually the answer. Frazzledrip, Huma Abedin, Hillary Clinton. You might want to look at her, the Woo-Hobby, Huma Abedin's emails over the years, cell phone communications, emails, anything. Frazzledrip, might want to look at that more. Anyway, CIA, big time. Robert David Steele said on the ITNJ that the CIA was procuring children and slaves, selling them internationally. They were called Disposables even, where they didn't have a name, ID, a social security number. They could have been being used for even up to murder, because adrenochrome was supposedly also being done on Epstein Island. Kendall is another person you want to talk to. She was on Dr. Phil. She was one of Epstein's slaves. She was a house slave. She said other people were kept in cages, locked up, and raped many times a day, matching to what the UN files from years before that I read said. They know the ledgers. They're running the game. They call it a game. Why didn't the UN do anything about it? They've known who's been getting raped, enslaved in cages, and kidnapped and sold illegally. And they have an army. They could have done something, because they're a beast system and they're not for us. You got to defund the UN. They're part of the problem. Defund the crooked CIA. They're part of the problem. A lot of them are just criminals, obviously. Adrenochrome, Epstein Island. Look into that. Murder, all the dirty mattress pile in his trash mountain on his island probably has a lot of DNA evidence on it still. If you look at the drone footage, you'll see piles of mattresses thrown into his trash mountain. I heard there was a pile of children's bones, at least 200 skeletons that was found near the beach on his property before. You might want to investigate if there's anything behind that. But yeah, the CIA really has a problem. Robert David Steele was one of their own bosses and said on the ITNJ that they were selling, he told the truth. He said they were selling children as disposable children, disposables. So the problem here is when our government funds the UN and the CDC, $10 billion a year just to the CDC, and funds all these terrorist, pedo-pimping, adrenochroming functions and networks, and our tax money was going in it. I also don't want this NIH because they've been doing things to animals that's just as bad as the adrenochrome. Okay? No, it's serious. All this needs to be defunded. But you want to look into John Podesta and Hillary Clinton's emails, even just the excerpts about walnut sauce, and start highlighting walnut sauce. Walnut sauce means human brains. They look for, that's something they say in their code words. Human brains, walnut sauce. There's handkerchiefs. That's something that they keep a ejaculate on, and they keep it on them like a little keepsake. Yes, it's disgusting. Pizza maps. That's another word from John Podesta and Hillary Clinton's email communications. Chicken, walnut sauce, pizza map. Handkerchiefs will be mentioned, but you want to look for these types of communications and start going down the line here. You know what I mean? Kendall, Epstein Island, she was a slave. She got rescued off the island. Why not talk to Kendall in full depth more than, Dr. Phil talked to her on, she was on Dr. Phil's show, blowing up the spot. And, why isn't Kendall in Congress talking to you guys or talking to you in the back rooms? I hope she is. The thing is, she was saying more than the rest of them are a bunch of hush puppet cover-uppers. Those other ladies, they're embarrassed. Oh, yeah, because what? You were dealing with pedophiles and rapists, you guys, and you just blow the whistle. Don't try to cover it up because you're embarrassed that you guys were involved with pedophile activity or adrenochrome or loser circles. The thing is, the truth shall make you free, Tell the truth. But the one like Kendall is actually willing to tell the truth. The other ones don't want to talk about it, and then the media try to spin it as, human trafficking in teenage girls. Another thing, you got P. Diddy and Meek Mills. You also got Oprah. Remember her friend Fake John of God? He's in prison. He was a slave dealer. He was full of rape and slavery. He was breeding people to sell internationally. That's Oprah's buddy. You can see pictures of Oprah sitting with him. The thing is, these people had a lot going on. They had an international network. You probably just want to go through all of their old records, emails, cell phone communications, whatever you can get. This stuff is on storage. And the FBI and the cybersecurity team, and I'm sure the military has abilities to do a good amount of things. Again, this militarizing thing is the best way to deal with things, like kill people, blow shit up. These people deserve to die. They're cannibals. They fuck kids. They kidnap and sell children and other people. They had people killed so they could eat their adrenaline gland or inject it. Satan used to do that. Jesus said, it's like Jekyll and Hyde Island shit that used to go on there too. The thing is, I guess that covers it. I wanted to make sure we hit all the things. UN records, check all their records of all of this going on. That's anything like Epstein stuff, they know. Okay? You might want to look into some of the stuff too. Talk to Gordon Bowden in person. He has all these records on Finchley Road and the 160,000 or so shell companies that came off of it for laundering all this criminal, pedophile, rape, slave, network mob money. Gordon Bowden would be a great person to get on your team and get over here at least as a contractor or consultant in these situations, because he really knows what he's doing with digging up files on shell companies and boiler rooms. Okay, people will talk about, it's a front for this, it's a front for that. Yeah, he gets into that deep. Train more people like Gordon Bowden to do what he does. So the UN, Hillary Clinton, the walnut sauce, Podesta emails, John and Tony Podesta, Madeleine McCann might want to look into their communications those days. Go back in time on the records machines and figure out what they were doing there and who's that cop and why did everybody look the other way, And P. Diddy, he should, this again, who's the crooked judge? This This isn't just teenage girls and human trafficking. Again, this is murder, this is kidnapping, this is illegal slavery, this is up to adrenochrome and murder, this is hardcore rape. These are felonious charges, even beyond rape. You know, P. Diddy, what is his buddy Meek Mills, you know, Josh Shapiro's always got Meek Mills over the years on TV. Oh, we're giving him an award, the city of Philly's giving him an award. They're always giving him awards. Well, I lived in those heroin crack neighborhoods before, and I'll tell you, it's bad, and they're just a bunch of old-timey CIA-like scumbag losers. You know, also, while I'm talking about Shapiro, God said that he's a fraud like Biden and cheated the election, so you guys should really investigate. I can't have a governor in my state who didn't win the election sitting there doing nothing all the time while the minimum wage is a slavery wage of $7.25 an hour. This is how backwards these people are. They think it's okay to cartel rent fix. And while I'm talking about the cartels, the local cartels, and you know, the adrenochrome would go on through the Marriott out in Seattle, and there's even companies that were selling human meat, and there's even documentaries about this on the internet. Okay? Human meat, and this is dealing with white collars, this is dealing with EMTs. There's a whole chain of operations that they sell, and they switch over money at least 2 or 3 times from where they harvest organs off of the people they killed or whatever. Then the Marriott thing was they take their victim children or whoever, they like children a lot, they rape them and torture them until their organs submit. That's what they call it, the organs submit. And then they harvest the adrenochrome and they sell it, okay? There's a whole bunch of shit. But alright, so UN, CIA really should be defunded, replaced by military and paramilitary. I'd really rather the money go there. And, you know, paramilitary, dark ops, gray ops, or whatever, I don't care. I don't care if this shit's white ops. You guys could kill all these fucking pedophile cannibals and slave dealers and light them on fire